why am I not giving you super black and white, go low carb? That can work. And if you go on a low carb or very low carb diet, that will be a Candida diet. However, as a clinician who works with people, you are confronted, you are slapped in the face with the reality that not everyone does well on a low carb diet. And most namely, I would say that it's women and people who are undergoing a lot of exercise, which would include myself. And I've also noticed and seen in the clinic that if people go too low carb, they can have problems with sleep, problems with energy, problems with mental clarity, and in some cases, in women, things like thinning hair and interruptions of their cycle. So we want to navigate the nuance so that you can steer away from going too high carb, but not be shoehorned into going definitionally low carb or even keto. What you eat really matters. Case in point, clinical trial found that a prescription antifungal alone compared to an antifungal with a Candida diet was twice as effective than just the medication alone. 120 patients with gastrointestinal symptoms plus Candida overgrowth documented via a stool test. They were given either nystatin, an antifungal drug, alone, or that drug plus diet. Now, the drug alone group had a 42.5% resolution of symptoms and Candida in their stool. But if they combine that with diet, the results jumped to 85%. So they doubled the success rate with diet, hence why it's so important. This study did allow stevia and artificial sweeteners. And I know some people are not fans of artificial sweeteners. However, just reporting the data objectively here, when people use those as sweeteners, they seem to have done pretty well given the 85% response rate. The study did recommend to avoid honey and high sugar sources, and we'll give you a more comprehensive list in that diet handout. But focusing on things like stevia, monk fruit, and erythritol are probably going to be okay. And then avoiding things like cane sugar, maple syrup, honey, and of course, high fructose corn syrup. Glycemic load is similar to glycemic index in terms of it tells you not only how much the food will impact your blood sugar, but also the total sugar or carb in the food. The study recommended 1 to 2 servings per day of lower sugar fruits. So how we action this into a diet plan is quite simple. You want to emphasize things like berries and apples, and you want to reduce, and reduce doesn't mean completely eliminate, but have 1 or maybe half a serving per day. Just be careful not to consume a lot of higher sugar fruits, bananas, pineapple, mango, and I would definitely be careful with dried fruit because this is the highest in sugar. And it's really processed. It's not highly processed, but it's processed. And the processing impacts the sugar to fiber ratio and the glycemic index and glycemic load. And we will link to a more comprehensive food list. I'm not going to go through literally every fruit, but this gives you a high level. And then again, a fuller list is at your disposal. We will link to it in the description of this video. And by the way, if this has been helpful, please comment and subscribe. I really do appreciate hearing what people think, so I'll look forward to reviewing your comments. Lower carb vegetables and legumes. This would mean something like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, asparagus. Focus on these. Great. You'd want to be a little more careful with things like potato, sweet potato, carrots, beans, and chickpeas. You can have some, but this would be a food where if you overdo it, it could be a problem. You want to avoid things like potato chips and corn chips. Now, in this study, they did not recommend people to avoid gluten. So there was no exclusion of wheat, barley, and rye. And as we documented, there was an 85% improvement in symptoms and stool candida. So you don't have to go grain and gluten-free on a Candida diet. And this matters for the people who may not do well, definitionally, low carb or keto. So the recommendation here is that whole grains are okay and avoid processed grains, and only avoid gluten if you know you have celiac or non-celiac gluten sensitive. What this looks like is brown rice, okay. White rice, generally avoid. Whole grain bread, okay. Whether that be a gluten-free bread or a gluten-containing bread, you want the sort of a little bit darker color, a little bit heartier of a feel, and you want to avoid the white bread, the sort of thin bread. And I'll use one bread that I like, Udi's. They have gluten-free breads, just for those of you who are wanting to adhere to gluten-free. Not that you have to. Udi's makes a whole grain bread and a gluten-free whole grain bread and a white bread. And you can see and feel the difference in terms of the white bread is white, it is light, it is thin, and the whole grain bread is heartier, heavier, and this matters as it pertains to Candida. And again, for a more comprehensive list, you can see our food list, but this gives you the high-level direction that should be able to inform the decisions that you make with the breads that you eat. Not the white rice, the brown rice, not the white bread, the whole grain bread, and that should be enough to get you most of the way there. I do want to make one quick aside. There, in my view, are sort of these two different gut types, what we would call a bacterial or a SIBO type versus a fungal type. The people who have SIBO or kind of your classic IBS, they will often remark vegetables and fiber, things like broccoli, asparagus, a lot of the foods allowed on this very list flare me. And they may say, yeah, the worse I eat, the better I feel because I eat white rice and potatoes and starches and I feel great. That's your bacterial IBS SIBO type gut. The opposite is generally true for a fungal or Candida type gut. If they eat worse, right, the worse they eat, usually the worse they feel. So if they have lots of potato, lots of white rice, starchier foods in general, they're going to feel it in a bad way. So just to orient you, this can sort of help reconcile some of the lived experience you guys might be going through and obviously give you direction with your diet. Now, the elemental diet is a meal replacement that's formulated to be very gut friendly and gut healing and reparative. And there's a lot of data showing the benefits therein. However, because the carbohydrates are maltodextrin in most cases, or dextrose, these are more simple carbs. The merit of this is that they absorb in the first 2 feet of the small intestine, thus giving the entirety of the intestinal tract a chance to rest and repair. However, it does pose a potential contradiction in the sense that this is a fairly high carb formula. So what does the research say? There's not a lot of data here, but in 2 studies in children with inflammatory bowel disease, wherein some cases of inflammatory bowel disease may have fungal overgrowth, and one hypothesis as to why either Crohn's or ulcerative colitis begins is due to fungal overgrowth. These 2 studies found either no negative impact from the elemental diet or a reduction in Candida. So again, I don't think we have enough data to make a very confident decision here. However, I do think it would be worthwhile to trial an elemental diet for anywhere from 1 to 4 days and see how you do. You will notice within a day or 2 if you feel better or if perhaps you're noticing your symptoms flare. So it can be a quick and simple experiment to run. As your gut heals, as your Candida balances, you should become more tolerant to these foods and be able to achieve food freedom over time. So like with any elimination diet, these are more so a month or 2, maybe 3 if your symptoms are somewhat severe. But once you've been improved symptomatically and you've been stable in that improvement for about a month, that's when you want to start to test the waters, because you will not need to be on a elimination or a specific diet plan forever. Does that mean that lots of added sugar or a high amount of starch and high sugar fruit intake is going to be okay? Perhaps not, but there's some wiggle room between a Candida diet and then going all the way to that extreme of high sugar, high starch, high carb. And per the usual, I hope this helps you improve your health.